Hi Thomas, what's the latest on an injury front? Is Christian Norgard available tomorrow?
No, unfortunately not. Christian will not be available. Got some issues with his Achilles that tried to get on top of. So yeah.
Any ideas on how long he may be out?
No, that's just sorry. Look at the first game where we need to prepare for, and he's out for that game, and then we'll see. It's not like a definite that'll how long it will be.
And Christopher Ira, is he back in full training now?
Back in full training, yeah.
Too early.
Yeah, he will not be ready for the squad.
It's now no wins in 6, but I imagine when you look at the performance in games like the one against Aston Villa, there's no concern about their performance and form at all.
Yeah, absolutely bang on. Of course, it's the. I think that's for me. Like I said, for me, it's the most difficult part of being a head coach, that you, and for the players and everyone involved in a football club, you work so hard the whole week and all time to get that win on a Saturday, and when you then on top of that top perform, which I think we did against Villa, and you don't get, you got a point, but you don't get the deserved or whatever, something called that in football, 3 points. That's hard to accept in the logical brain or emotional brain, maybe not an emotional brain. The logical brain is that we look at the performances, we analyze it, we see that we're doing a lot of things right, and we've done that in the last 6 games. And one of the reasons why we've been very good at Brentford is in all of us, especially Matthew, the owner, Phil Giles, Rasmus Ankersen before, now Lee Dykes, myself included, taking me away maybe 24 hours after the loss, not too emotional, looking at what we are doing well, look at the underlying metrics, and on the underlying metrics has actually shown that we are doing very well the last 6 games. Looking with my analytic eyes and football brain, still a lot of things we like to improve and do better always, even against Villa that's close to be a top performance, even against when we beat the Man United, things we wanna do better. But all that added together, we are in a good place. Do we want to get all the line to win? Badly. Do we hope it happens tomorrow? Yes. Will it be difficult tomorrow? Yes. But can we do this with a calm, cool approach? Then we can keep developing like we've done the last 4 or 5 years.
It looks like 7th place will now guarantee European football. Is that a realistic target for this club now?
7th place. I've never looked at any specific position, first, third, second, second, third, or 7, or 10, or whatever. We just want to do everything we can to win the next game and end as high as possible. So that the aim is, I said it before, we have not won in 6, but we are looking behind. We look at the performances, but of course we just like to win. So first thing first, try to win tomorrow.
Chelsea now their 4th manager this season. They haven't won in 7 matches. You'll be hoping for another special trip to Stamford Bridge after what happened there last year.
Of course, last year was a special night in Brentford's history. Fantastic game. I definitely always remember. We hope that we can go and perform again tomorrow, and we hope that we can win. I think it's important. I think we all know that Chelsea have been struggling a little bit this season. Very good players. I think Frank, I know they haven't won. I think it's clearly in the 4 games he's been in charge, they are playing with bigger energy, more intensity on the eye and also on the numbers. And I think actually they played a very good game, for example, against Madrid at home. And Madrid at home, as far as I know, I think they won a tiny cup title last year in Champions League. So it's top players, and on the day they bought players for £600 million in the last 2 transfer windows, and they haven't forgot to play football. And sometimes it takes one moment, or now they had a good week to work with them at Stamford Bridge. They are clear favourites, of course they should be. But we hope and believe that we can do something.
How significant would it be for Brentford to finish above Chelsea and Fulham this season?
I know there's this local rivalry against the two clubs. So with that in mind, of course, it would be nice. But I don't have any specific clubs I want to end above. I just want to end as high as possible. And if you want to end as high as possible, there'll be a few below you. Yeah. Do I want to end higher than both clubs? Yes, but also want to end higher than whatever who's above us now, Villa, Brighton, whatever. But yeah, so we just want to end as high as possible.
And finally for me, there's a report that Manchester City are interested in Aaron Hickey. What have you made of his first season at Brentford?
Good young player that we believe a lot in, that I think have taken some good steps in the right direction. I think actually he played a very good game against Villa last game, and I think he's progressing very well. He was a little bit unlucky getting an injury mid-season that kept him out for quite a few games. A lot of things to improve, a lot of things he needs to do better, but we are pleased with his first season, but there's much more to come from him. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Just to pick up on what you said about you were able to pick yourself up and the club, your boss is looking at things rationally, then how do you, after this run maybe, how do you then get the players to do that? Because it's always maybe a bit easier for you, but the players maybe a bit less experienced. How do you get them to do it?
Good question. I think again we try to be consistent in our behaviors towards the players, in our analysis of the game. So we look at every game more or less the same way. How we look at our principles, what we have done well in terms of our style of play, what we want to do, how we measure it, how we can show that was good or that could be changed, what was the thing that was specifically well inside the principles, but for this specific game plan, and what is the things we need to do better. And we do that no matter if we are winning, drawing, or losing. So I think that bit is very important. I think that especially when they can see, I think that's the key thing. The second thing is they also can see that our performance has been good. They also know that how can I say we should have won against Villa with the way we played, and then we just try to reinforce the positives in those performances. That's what I believe in.
Chelsea obviously didn't have a very good game against Brighton a couple of weeks ago. Brighton played very well. Is there anything you can maybe take from the way that Brighton played and went about that?
I think Brighton have been very, very good this season. I think they are a tiny bit further down the line compared to us. I think we spoke about that last time when we faced them. I think there's 6 years, something like that, in Premier League is our second. So in terms of building layers, which they have done very well, I think we are just a few layers behind that. But I always look at different teams to see how they do against the opponent that's in front of us. So that it's one game I look back at yesterday and this morning. Same with the Wolves game. So those are the two main games we looked at because Frank's been in charge in those two.
And just lastly then, what do you see when you look, you sort of mentioned how maybe Frank's changed it on the pitch, but just from club to club, what do you see when you sort of think of Chelsea at the moment? How does it come across to you?
Again, I don't think it's my job to go in depth about Chelsea. I think it's obvious that they have bought a lot of players, and they, like any other club that buy a lot of players, they need to settle in and how can you say, find the relationship and find what is working. They've started a project last summer-ish, and that will take some time before that is fully up and running.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anything else under immediate embargo? Yes.
Just a quick keep building on the team news. Kevin Sharda came on at the weekend. You said it was cramp. Is that still the case? Are you available tomorrow?
Yes, he's available tomorrow. Still the case. Cramp, just fatigued. Had said that before. For me, the best performance he's had in a Brentford shirt. Very pleased with that. So he was just. We knew that he came from Freiburg, that we had to build him to play with even higher intensity. Plus, he hasn't played that much senior football in his career, so he's working very hard to get up there, and he was just very fatigued.
Okay, you actually kind of touched upon my next question about Sharda. Since his arrival in January, what have you been able to learn about him, and what areas do you see he has a lot of room for improvement? I
think he's a young player that every young player and every player have a potential that we need to maximize and do our best to maximize. I think it's clear for everyone that he's relatively quick, and especially when he's running behind. And I think the first bit you would like to add in a team is that you can trust him defensively. And we can do that more and more. I think his abilities to press, his ability to know the triggers, his ability to know the key principles there. Okay, check, because he has his natural pace and ability to running behind that we just need to release. So you go Kevin, go out and express yourself and show yourself. And then we're adding more and more layers also offensively, and that will come.
Okay, and one final thing, and it's another inquiry about an individual. Tom Strakosha wasn't part of the squad on Saturday. You didn't mention him in terms of injuries at last press conference. What's the situation with him?
Minor injury, minor calf strain. Unfortunately, that will keep him out for Wednesday as well. Yeah, nothing major.